Hi, friends. Welcome back. I'm so excited to introduce our new book, The City of Ember. Oh my gosh, great novel. So before I actually dive into what's coming up in the first couple of chapters with this book, I wanted to provide some background knowledge just to kind of give you a feel for our setting. So we are literally in the City of Ember, and it's run by lights, hence why like mine has a light bulb on the cover. You might have a different cover, but light bulb is significant. And so the city is powered by light bulbs, and they get their electricity from this huge generator that they have. So there's no sun like we know. So our setting is very different, and we can say that it takes place in the future because it's run on electricity and there's no sun. So clearly there's something going on here that's very futuristic about our setting. And in the very beginning of your book, let me find mine, you will have a map of the city. By all means, take a look at this map, get familiar with it. It's going to, I think, help you visualize where our characters go and where things are. Thinking there's anything else that I want to tell you before you dive into this. I think that's about it. So in chapter one, or not really chapter one, but the instructions. So this story starts off with the instructions, which is very similar to the prologue that we saw in Tuck. So here in the instructions, we have information that the city was built by the chief builder and the assistant builder, and there are instructions that are left for the mayor to open at a certain time about what the people should do, where they should go. And unfortunately, this information gets lost. So we are kind of given this knowledge, and then it dives into chapter one. So they say, hey, reader, like, here's what's coming, here's some background about the city, and then it dives into the story itself. So keep that in mind. It's a little confusing. And then chapter one, assignment day, is all about our characters figuring out what's next. So the way that it works in the City of Ember, once you become a certain age, you're done with school, you learn how to read and write, do some basic math pretty much. So definitely not like high school or anything like we have. You are given an assignment, and that assignment turns into what your job is. And unlike many of us who we get to choose our jobs, they are assigned their jobs. And we meet our main character whose name is Lina Mayfleet. And according to this, the year is 241. Good to know. And when kids reach the age of 12, that's when they are assigned their job. They're done with school. So today is graduation day for Alina and her class. And the mayor comes in and wants to assign them jobs. So we learn a little bit about the history of the city and expectations and things like that, such as the mayor says, first we get our education, then we serve our city. And that's pretty much what they've done at this point. And Lena really wants a fun job. She wants something where she's going to be out and about, and she's really hoping for a certain job. And then we have another character whose name is Dune. And Dune himself is also hoping for a very specific job, and we'll get to that in a second. And then we have Lena's best friend, Lizzie. And Lizzie gets the job of supply depot clerk, and that's going to be important later on. Unfortunately, Lena does not get the job that she wants when she pulls out of the bag. And same with Dune. Dune is unhappy with his job as well. Dune really wants something with he likes to fix things. And Dune kind of says some things he shouldn't to the mayor, and the mayor disciplines him a little bit. He calls him out on it. I'm going to give a little bit away just to make life easier for our next couple of chapters. Dune approaches Lena and says, hey, can we switch jobs? So they do. So Lena and Dune switch. They are both now happy with their job choices. And we continue into chapter two. We learn about Lena's family here in chapter two. We learn a little bit more about what she looks like and things like that. Lina and Dune used to be friends back in the day until, slight misunderstanding. And now Lina lives with her grandmother and her little sister, Poppy. And Poppy's adorable. Oh my gosh. And 2 years ago, there was a coughing sickness that went through the city, and that is what killed her parents. So, unfortunately, Lina and Poppy are being raised by her grandmother, who they call Granny. And Lina's all excited that she got the job that she wants, and she is eager to start. And she goes on her first day of work. She's given the job of messenger. So her job is to relay messages back and forth to people. There are no telephones, there are no cell phones, there are no TVs, there are no radios, like nothing really like that where they are. So the only way to communicate with one another is to give a messenger a message to run to someone else in the city and give it to them. So it could be something like asking a question, inviting someone over for dinner, whatever it is. So Lina's first day, we learn about the couple of her first message clients, I guess we could call them. And then she's given a message that she has to give to the mayor. It's a very important message. So she heads over to the mayor's and she's told to wait. And just like every other 12-year-old, she gets curious about a door and then stares by a door. She goes up the stairs while she's waiting for the mayor. And I'm not going to give away what that leads to or what she does, but unfortunately, she does get in trouble. She is caught, I guess. She's not punished or anything like that. But she does relay the message to the mayor. And then in chapter 3, we switch perspectives and we get to hear things from Dune's point of view and what his first day at the Pipeworks looks like. And they describe, so if we think about it, he goes underground, so under the city where the generator is, where there's all these pipes and everything for the generator. That's his job. And we learn that what that looks like and the tools that they use. And Dune is so curious about this generator, but his job is just to you're going to get a list of holes that need to be fixed in pipes in certain parts of the city. You have to go there and fix them. Not really what Dune was hoping to do for a job. So similar to Lina, he's curious. He goes looking for the generator while he's on his lunch break and he finds it. And he learns that their job is to keep the generator from breaking down. And this kind of starts to raise some conflicts. The biggest thing in these first couple of chapters is we kind of learn that things aren't perfect in the City of Ember. They are having blackouts where the lights go out because the generator stops working. And that means they can't see anything at all because there is no natural light at all. Everything is just by those light bulbs. So that's a huge problem. And they keep lasting longer and longer, which is another problem. They are also running out of light bulbs. Now that's a really big problem. So so the generator's breaking down, they're running out of light bulbs. They're just running out of a lot of things. And there's really no way for them to replace things. Like with us, if we, we're out of bread, let's go to the store and buy some more bread. Well, what do you do when the store runs out of bread? So that's kind of what the people in Ember are dealing with. So we're seeing a lot of these problems popping on up here. And then we meet Dune's father, and he's very supportive. He likes to really give Dune things to think about. And we also learn that Dune has a little pet. So cute that he's trying to keep alive. In chapter 4, we see Granny looking for something in their home, and we know that it's something from the 7th mayor, who was a long-distance relative of Lina's, and Granny is determined to find this thing. She's not really sure what it is, but she's determined to find it. So Lina goes off and she heads over to the greenhouses today because she's going to see Clary. And Clary was a woman who worked with her father. Her father's assignment was the greenhouses. And he truly had, like, as we learn in the chapter, a knack for the greenhouses. He was very talented with working in there. Um, and when she visits Clary, we learn something, like I said before, we learn about these problems going on in Ember, and here we have another problem, and that is something's wrong with the potatoes. They're runny inside, so they can't eat them. It's a new disease. So now they're running out of certain foods. So that's another problem. And then we see a man going a little insane, a little mad, a little crazy, whatever word you want to use there. And he does something that sparks a conversation. So there's all these things happening in Ember that we're learning as readers that are making us think, like, well, what's really going on with this city? Like, why are people acting this way? And another thing I want to point out in the city, like I said, there's no natural light. There's only light bulbs. There are also no flashlights. So, and the reason I'm mentioning that is because it comes up here in this chapter, because in chapter 4, because of the man going out into the unknown regions and he can't see anything. So in our heads, we're thinking as readers, we'll just take a flashlight or, something like that. And they don't have flashlights in the City of Ember, which I think is kind of weird personally for me as a reader. I'm like, well, if you have a generator and light bulbs, but no flashlights. But anyway. And then in chapter 5, we learn that Granny's mind is getting more and more muddled. If you've ever been around elderly before, they sometimes tend to, their mind goes in different directions. They might not understand things the way they used to. They may not remember things the way they used to. And Lina relies a lot on Mrs. Murdo to help her with Poppy when this happens to Granny, because of Poppy. It's just really, it's helpful. Lina in this chapter has decided, she's finally made some money and she's like, I want to go and buy colored pencils because Lina loves to draw. So she heads to a store to buy them. While she is there, I don't want to give it away because it's a good part of the chapter. Well, I shouldn't say good part. It's an intense part of the chapter. Something happens while she is at the store with Poppy, and it's terrifying. It is scary. It is, oh my gosh, like as a reader, I just wanted to keep on reading because I was so worried for Poppy. I'm not going to say anything more about this chapter because I want you to read it and enjoy it yourselves. So just a quick recap so far from the instructions through chapter 5. We know that the City of Ember is a city that uses light bulbs instead of natural light like the sun. There's a generator underground that powers everything. The kids in the City of Ember go to school until they are 12 years old, and then they are assigned jobs. And Lina's job is a messenger. Lina is our main character. She is 12 years old, and she has a little 2-year-old sister named Poppy, and they live with Granny because unfortunately Lina's parents have passed away. And then we have Lina's friend, well, not really friend at this point, but you know what I mean, old friend Dune, who lives with his father. And Dune works in the Pipeworks because he really wants to fix things. He's determined to do something to help. And we learn that there are problems with the generator. It keeps breaking down. They're running out of light bulbs. There's issues with the food that they're growing that we learn from Clary at the greenhouses. So there's a whole heck of a lot of stuff going on here in the beginning of the City of Ember. And it's making us worry as readers, like, well, what can they do? What happens? Like, is it going to get worse? Can it get better? So we're left with a whole bunch of reader questions after these first couple of chapters. And there's definitely, the chapters are a little bit longer in this book than we've looked at in other ones previously, but the vocabulary is not too challenging, so it makes it an easy read. I shouldn't say easy read, easier read. And it's just good writing. It's enjoyable. The story I feel like the pacing of it's really nice in these first couple of chapters. And I think that's about it. So I'll see you in class.